Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, it's the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. For those of you that watch every week, you're probably going, where the hell is he? He's lost. He's been taken away. And this is the perfect show for being lost and taken away by the spirits of the world. I'm out in Dallas. I'll explain this to everybody here soon. If you follow me, you know what's going on. But I'm down in Dallas for the next 2 weeks. So we have a great opportunity, though. We told you we were talking paranormal. We were talking about ghosts. And we brought Nate with us. And Nate always finds all the best ghost people out there and hooks me up with all of them. And he will tell you that we're going to see what happens here, folks, because every time, you know it if you listen enough, every time I have something paranormal on or somebody in that paranormal world or has a good paranormal story, my equipment messes up, my stuff starts breaking down, and we start to have problems. So let's hope that today is not one of those days, but we shall see. Now, if you're finding us through Lisa, you're finding us through Jason, make sure you give us a like, follow, and I don't know why I just skipped over that. Let me see. I told you I'm all messed up. I'm not in my bar. I'm not with all my stuff around me. I almost skipped over all of our guests.
Bartender Jobu needs a pre-fill.
Look, and Jason, I don't even have my bourbon, my rye whiskey with me. I have nothing. I got Dr. Pepper. That's where I'm
Whoa.
at today. That's where we're at today. So getting into it. First off, we have with us, and I love your tagline on here, Lisa, Queen of the Haunted Dolls. We have Lisa Marie. She's from the Paranormal Mayhem podcast. She's going to tell us why she's here real soon, but I'll give you a hint. She's got 60 haunted dolls. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'll go ahead and preface this way. I watched Poltergeist as a kid, Clown Doll.
Oh yeah.
And I don't like any of that shit no more. And I'll tell you why it even got worse. So Lisa, thank you for coming. I don't even have my sound machine to give you all the claps, but normally
good, thank you.
You would normally have a lot of clapping going on right now. Plus we have Jason, I'm not butchering your last name. I just want you to know that. I would call it Krakatoa or something like that.
That's a new one.
Crazy knick-knack or something like that. I don't know, whatever.
Krzyzaniak.
Look, I was pretty close with that.
Crazy knick-knack, yeah.
Crazy knick-knack. I was pretty close to it. And Jason is Jason's joining us, and Jason is a paranormal cameraman and investigator. Did I get it all correct there, Jason?
Yep, secondary cameraman to our group.
And then
paranormal in the Funhouse.
Then my favorite podcast guest finder, and what else does Nate do? Worst picker in fantasy football.
Oh no, here we go.
Well, Jason, he doesn't let anybody believe me when I tell him.
Right.
His first 2 picks are always kickers. I don't understand why he picks kickers.
That's why it's always me and you at the end.
But I thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. And we're going to get into get this house cleaning done. If you're finding us through either Lisa, Jason, or Nate, please take a moment, like, follow, share, put this out to everyone. Lisa, you've already got some of your folks popping on here. We got Isaiah Garcia just popped on saying hello to everyone. We've got
me.
Side. Is that you?
That's me.
Saying hello.
Saying hi to everybody.
She had me all messed up there. But so everybody's starting to pop on and do their thing. Thank you all. Salute to the paranormal group. Let's see here. From IG co-host on the Don Vick show from Boston. I got some Boston people hanging out with me right now there, Isaiah. So before we get too far here, because I'm out this way, everybody's calling me. But let's get some house cleaning done here real quick. As always, folks, I don't have my big I don't have my big board with me, but we have sticker and a cause. If you've got something you're supporting, something you believe in, you've got stickers for it. If you reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, even our email is the above the bar podcast at gmail.com. You reach out to me, you tell me what you got, send me that sticker. We'll give you some free advertisement, put it up on the big board, let everybody know what you got going on. Make sure you reach out to us. And we do have a new sponsor. We have a new sponsor now, folks. So I'm going to read this for you, and I hope you all like this. We have our first large sponsor. Are you looking for perfect window coverings for your home or business? Look no further than Budget Blinds of East Greenbush. Their team of experts is dedicated to helping you find the right blind, shade, shutters, or drapes to fit your unique style and budget. They offer a wide range of high-quality custom window coverings at affordable prices. Don't wait to schedule your free consultation today and transfer your space with Budget Blinds of East Greenbush. And if you mention to them when you give a call, and they do have a Facebook page under the same name, Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, and you mention to them that you're there to belly up to the bar, they're going to give you a 10% discount on that first set of window coverings that you order. So the bar is open. Oh, and for all of you that are finding us, make sure you share the daylights out of this. Let's get this thing going. So let's start with you, Miss Lisa Marie. So we were talking beforehand. Now, those of you that are watching the video, you can see some of the dolls that she has in the background.
Yeah.
So you have 60 what you called haunted dolls, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Now, I got to ask this. What makes a doll haunted?
Well, it kind of depends because when people pass away, they get attached to their dolls that they want to stay here. Some don't want to leave. I actually have a doll that's like that. She is up on the shelf. Her name is Dooney. Her actual caretaker, her passed away, and that spirit's actually attached to the doll. A lot of spirits like to attach to vessels because they're easy to go into, and they travel around. Some are here for unfinished business. They don't want to cross over at all, and so they want to stay. So vessels are the easiest to get into.
So, but now you called the doll Dooney.
Yes, she's up on the shelf.
Now,
that was actually a real lady.
So it was the lady's name Dooney, and that's where that name comes from?
Correct. Yep.
So now, how do you know that? Like, because beforehand you had your K2 going, you had the other little I called them jingle lights. I don't know what they are.
Spirit balls, cat balls, you know.
Yeah, spirit balls, Dragon Ball Z's, whatever you got to call them. But now, how do you like that they're this way? Are people reaching out to you like you ran into this, and now people are reaching out to you and sending these to you? How did this all even begin for you?
For me, my 16-year-old daughter went out of town here in Minnesota and went to an antique store and came across Annabelle doll, and she ended up being, her name was Annabelle, and actually Brandon Crody with Paranormal in the Funhouse has her. And so that's how I kind of got started, and it just went from there. I also I'm a paranormal investigator as well. And so a lot of people now are reaching out to me with their haunted vessels or items. I actually have 2 rosaries that are haunted. I do.
But they're on the table, but hold on. Aren't all rosaries kind of haunted? I mean, let's call that what that is. I grew up Catholic. They're all haunted.
Right. Yeah. These ones actually have names. One's Catherine. There are some people that will reach out to me and tell me their story, but for me, I don't think you can come up with a huge long story. I am in a lot of doll groups and I get very apprehensive. So I start validating and asking and investigating them on my own. So for Dooney, for instance, her caretaker had reached out to me because the caretaker because she worked with Dooney, who was a real lady. She actually passed away, and that was her doll, and she was attached to the doll. And so when I started getting her, I investigated her, and she actually admitted with spirit boxes, K2s, balloon lights, that it confirmed that it was Dooney in that vessel. I also have a couple doll readers that are really good that also can help if you need as well.
Okay, now what is a doll reader?
So people out there that call them doll readers, they say that they can read dolls, like the spirits in the dolls tell them their story. For me, the spirits only allow me to hear them when I want to. That's why I use equipment a lot, because they don't let me hear them with my own ears a lot of times.
So these are almost like mediums that
Mhm.
can connect to those items and connect with them. Now,
Mhm.
Jason's down here, and for those of you that are watching the live, Jason's head's bobbing like, "Yep, I saw this shit." Now,
Mhm.
Oh
Jason,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll talk. We'll
Oh, yeah.
talk about that. Yeah.
I
now
know
I was
exactly what she's talking about.
now tell me. Now you say you know what she's talking about. Tell me a little bit more about how your involvement with this, Jason.
We had an episode that we did at the opera house, and she brought a bunch of her dolls with her. And needless to say, her and I went off to do our own little investigation, and we had some really crazy things happen. You know, we were in one of the
Well, come on,
dressing
now, don't
rooms.
hide it.
And
What's a crazy thing?
okay, well, we were in the dressing room. I'm filming her, and she's asking the questions. And as soon as I felt something behind me, and as soon as I turned the camera back behind me, and it started to pan back around, she's in the corner, mind you, of the bathroom area. All of a sudden, the toilet flushed
Mhm.
Nate,
by
is that
itself,
you?
by itself. Nobody touched nothing. It's
Mhm.
one of those sensors you have to sit down on it for it to go off when you stand up. One of those type toilets.
So
And
something had to have come past it, had to set that sensor off.
yes. And then she
Yeah.
had her dolls all up in the auditorium, and
Now, did
I don't know.
Dooney had to relieve themselves? I mean, Dooney had to go duty. The Dooney
Yeah,
duty.
Dooney's newer to me. She wasn't in Maryland with me. I actually had some other ones, and we actually, when I set up the dolls in the auditorium, I have Tasha that came with. We actually during our live, someone had saw an orb come from one of my dolls. Right on when me and Jason
Oh
were
yeah, I
doing
forgot about that.
where we were doing the live walkthrough, and I went back on the live to see what they were talking about. As soon as she told me where to look, you saw an orb come right from the doll.
Now, for folks that this is the first time really hearing about, this or skeptical or whatever
Mhm.
the case may be, I know what the orb deal is. Can you explain to them what the deal is with the orbs?
So orbs, those are very controversial, I'll tell you, because there's dust, right? Dust, there's little particles that go on camera that can look like orbs. Orbs are spirits that travel. They can be different colors. They can be blue, green, red. They
Or
mean different things.
or
Um,
starting of a manifestation.
yep.
Now, do people believe that the colors have any significance in them at
Yeah,
all?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some say the red ones are more like your negative demonic energies. Blues are like a little calmer. I mean, there's so many. It's a controversial subject actually,
Hmm.
because you can say, "Hey, that was an orb," and somebody else is going to say, "No, it wasn't. That was dust." To
Or a bug.
me, or a bug. To me, if you're not at that location, how can you determine it unless you're actually there?
And you're saying that this person saw it happen,
She
and
did.
then you could go right back to it and see it repeated.
Yes, I was like, what? And I went back to look at it, and sure enough, shot across. And this is when we were actually doing a live walkthrough before we started filming. Jason and I had the auditorium. So the
Yep.
lights were on, everything.
Now, Lisa, it sounds like for you, getting into this was kind of just a progression of like things that like, hey, here's your daughter found the doll. The next thing you know, you're with haunted dolls, and these things are going on, and kind of was like a natural progression. But for you, Jason, how did you get involved in all this?
With her.
Her fault, huh?
It was her
My
fault.
fault.
I don't like dolls. No, they're too creepy for me.
But how about the
Happens.
investigation part? How did you get involved in the investigation part?
Well, I've been around that stuff since I was growing up. I mean, I've seen black figures. I've seen orb. I mean, I was laying in bed one night, and this orb just came out of the wall, floated across my legs, and then made a left turn, and went through the wall to the bathroom. And I'm like, I've heard going in the house, and I called for my mom, and she would say, "I'm in here," and I went through the whole house, still hearing, "Where are you at? I'm in here," and she wasn't even home.
Yeah, I got a good story like that. Now, Nate, you've been awful quiet, brother. Normally, you'd be typing 100 things right now. Going at it. What was now? You
Doll got
brought
your tongue.
Doll got your
No.
tongue. Yeah, leave that shit, Jason. Look, I'm not even
Mr.
home.
Hughes just keeps with that K2 going off. My K2 never acts like that. It's so weird. I've moved him now 3 times before the show, and it still goes off. It's crazy.
And my man Corey, good friend of mine, another Marine. Haven't seen Corey since 1998. We talk probably once a year. Haven't seen him since 1998. We're going to finally get to see each other in Dallas this weekend with another couple of Marine buddies. Cannot wait to see you guys. But so Nate, how did you get involved with all this? I know you and I, for those of you who don't know who Patty Negri is, I interviewed Patty a couple of years ago. She's very well known in the paranormal community, has her own channel, Paraflix. And look, folks, listen, streaming along the bottom of the screen right now, make sure you're giving Paranormal Mayhem a follow on Facebook, on Twitch, listening to their podcast, hearing what they've got going on. Make sure you're checking out these things, seeing what they've got going on. Nate's got about 100 pages. He'll have to tell you all his on his own, but he's got about 100 different fan pages. But how did you get involved in all this, Nate?
Well, that's a funny story. It took Callum, Jason, about a year for me to join the team.
So Jason was trying to get you involved. You weren't having it.
He hit me up on
helped me out a lot.
He hit me up on Facebook, and I was like, okay. And so I said, sure, I'll bring across him. And next thing you know, he was telling me, him and I got together talking, and he told me about Patty. And I was like, yeah, she's our protection manager. And we just started talking. And then he was like, we had a spot in our group. And I said, well, I'll talk to him. And lo and behold, he was trying to get in touch with everybody, Brandon and everybody on the group. And I was the only one that got, said, okay.
Now, see, Nate's sort of like that like birthmark you didn't realize you had. All of a sudden, you're like, some bitch, it's right there. I didn't even realize I had.
Where the hell did that come from?
And then you're like, then you show everybody, like, look what I got on my arm here. And next thing you know, he's in your life. That's why we love him, brother. But I got a great question here from George of Outlaws podcast or Outlaws Blitz, and he says, at what point do you go from thinking your mind might be playing tricks on you, or this ain't real, to being a firm believer, like, hey, there's something going on, this is really happening?
That's a really good question, because I started seeing and hearing spirits when I was 8 years old. I started as a little girl. Nobody believed me at that point in time, and I still see shadows and I hear voices, like I said, when they want to. And could your mind be playing tricks on you? Sure, why not? Let's talk about that for a minute. If you're really tired, remember, so let's say you're really tired, you had a long work day. Could you possibly see shadows out of the corner of your eye because you are so tired? Absolutely. So debunking is one of those things that you want to do to see if it really is spiritual or not. So a lot of debunking has to happen during those investigations, and just to kind of see what is going on. Because not everything's going to be paranormal,
Now, is that your first approach for you then, is to start with the, did somebody leave something running? Yep. Jason was talking about the toilet flush, and go to the janitor and say, hey, did you guys just fix this thing? Or, is that where you start your process?
Well, yeah. So with the toilet, we told actually Brandon about it, and then I'll talk about that point, because I'm actually have a spokesperson for Paranormal in the Funhouse as well. However, we let Brandon know what happened, and he actually called the Opera House Theater, and they confirmed that you had to sit on the toilet to get up for it to flush. There was no way where I was standing it would have even triggered. And I don't get scared. I jumped. Like, I don't get scared
Both
for any
jumped.
investigation, but he jumped on that one.
I won't say on TV on podcast what I really said.
Well, you're perfectly fine on this one. Now, as far as, I know we're jumping around a little bit here, but going back to the dolls for a minute. I mean, you told me beforehand, Lisa, you referred to it as a demon.
So this one here, her name is Pearl. She told me that she's a guardian demon. She's actually, and I had her read by one of my doll readers as well, and we got it confirmed 4 different ways. She does actually have I have actual herbs for spiritual protection that I made that will keep her from projecting into the TV or the monitor, just like Eustace. He's the same way. I got him from a lady, and she sent him to me. She told me how malicious he really was, and he's actually bound. And I have a video on my Facebook after I bound him and put him in a case. Spirit ball was going up like crazy.
Well, now
he's a
what
projector as well.
You said that to me about, because I want to go back to a guardian demon. I've never heard that term, but you also referred to him being bound. Now, when I think of bound, I think of, like, this is going to be me. This is going to be Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Charmed, or, this spirit is bound to this item, or Dungeons and Dragons, because I like that. There's a spirit bound to this weapon. Like, what does that mean?
So for a guardian demon, a lot of people say that demons cannot be your guardian, a protector. So the doll here on the right, her name is Pearl. She actually, in the house that she was at, she was protecting the children. The parents, she projected and lashing out at the parents and telling the parents to do things that they shouldn't be doing. And found out that she was protecting the kids because of the way they're being disciplined in the home. She didn't like it. And so she started like projecting nightmares, projecting negative thoughts towards the mom and dad. They would fight constantly. The kids are little. The kids were screaming and yelling. The baby didn't want to be let down. After they sent her to me, that whole household is back to normal.
Real? Oh.
Yes. And a lot of people, like the Wizard's Table, if you're not familiar with the Wizard's Table, Ken Allen, and then we have the Circle of the Unseen that I'm with, Hearstman, they both work with demon entities as well. And they can actually chime in more on a future show on what those demons can actually do to be your protectors, because they actually can.
Yeah, I would love to hear that, because like I said, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, that's a new one for me.
And I'll send you their information too, because getting both those guys on, it would be awesome, because they work in the occult. Ken works in the occult as well.
They work in the occult.
Yeah.
We're not just talking like, hey, I want to go chase ghosts this weekend. Like, we're talking like
Ken grew up in his practice since he was a little kid, but to get him on a show, he's really fun to talk to. He's awesome. So for the Opera House 2 theater that we did not mention yet, is before that we actually went there, we had Ken open up the veil, Heaven to Hell. I got sick during this and everything. We had so much going on. You guys, the episode's on Paraflix for Paranormal in the Funhouse. If you want to see it, we have Ken opening the veil right at the beginning, which is freaking amazing.
And to this day, I have not yet listened to the opening of that thing.
You haven't?
Every time, nope, I mute that bad boy as soon as it goes.
Oh my god, the opening's freaking. Brandon was awesome to have Ken do that.
Well, I'm just, I didn't want to hear it. Nope.
Well, I don't blame you, Nate. I thought you got abducted, man. Like, might have been
I was like, I said it. I was like, where do you go?
The poltergeist.
I was being chased by a doll.
It could have happened. What was her name?
It could have happened.
And my wife popped on. I will not be sleeping tonight. That's a fact. We got Liz popped in. She said hi to everybody, and we appreciate.
Hey, Liz.
And then Debbie Wallace Hagen says hi to everyone, and we appreciate you popping on. Look, folks, as I always want to promote my folks, like, check out Lisa and Jason, Paranormal in the Funhouse. Check out Paranormal Mayhem. The gentleman you were just saying, what was the name of their show again?
Also, we have
Wizard Table.
The Wizard's Table podcast is on
Table.
Facebook. There's a group called the Circle of the Unseen that I'm actually a part of. I am one of the admins for that as well. We have a unique group. It has everybody looking for something. We have it in our group. So
yes, check everybody out. Give them a follow.
There's a whole lot of people I'm getting you in contact with, Sean.
Oh my goodness! Like I'm hearing them all, Nate, and so and I'm hearing all these different experiences and everything. Now, but I'm gonna stick with you for a minute here, Lisa. Now, before the show, you said you had a daughter, or you mentioned that you had a daughter. How do you feel bringing, 60 items that, as far as you, and I'm going to say it this way, as far as you have investigated and you believe, carry with them some type of spirit, whether it be benign or malicious. There is some kind of a spirit, and knowing that, and then bringing it into your home. How do you? Well, obviously you feel like, well, fuck it, I'm here. But how do your children feel, or people around you, when you explain this to them?
Well, I have two daughters. One of my daughters actually came to Maryland. She's 16 now. She's an actual medium. She lives with my mom at this point in time. And when she was living with me, she helped me with dolls. I have videos of her with the dolls. And the only thing that she liked, because the spirits would talk to her all the time, and she had to learn how to shut them out. My 15-year-old who lives with me right now, I have to be very careful. Thanks, Debbie.
Debbie Wallace says you think she's crazy.
Yeah, I know Debbie. So Debbie's awesome. We've actually helped her as well. So my 15-year-old, I noticed that she's a few years back, the spirits were waking her up at night. And I was trying to figure out, she was diagnosed with parasomnia, and I actually had a video recording of it where she was woken up. I actually had to protect the rooms and the stuff now, so the spirits leave her alone. Here at my home, with all the spirits that I do have, I have two rules. You always got to have boundaries with spirits. I don't care if they're demonic, malicious, crabby, angry. It doesn't matter what they are, right? They're not allowed in our bedrooms. So I've sealed my daughter's bedroom where they can't go in there and they do not bother her. She'll come out and she'll just say, Mom, don't investigate when I'm home, because the high energy, she's very sensitive to that. So I'm very respectful of my daughter on that.
See, and I love that you said that. I've owned a few homes in my life. I've lived a few different places, and I am a firm believer in, when nobody else is home, I walk the house and we have a real clear-cut conversation about who's running the show, whose place this is. If you're going to hang, you're going to follow my rules. Yep. If you don't like that, you're welcome to move on. I'll be more than happy to help you any way I can, but this is my crib. And I started doing that, God, I couldn't even tell you how long ago it was, after dealing with things in the house I grew up in, that we could talk about that. I've talked about it on the show, that got me interested in this world. Now, you've talked about mediums and all these different things. And Jason, I want to ask this question real quick before I get too far. You haven't mentioned anything more than experiences where things have happened. Do you personally feel like you have any, I don't know whether I term, I call it gifts.
I guess sensitive. I sense where people are. I can tell, it was like we had a medium with us, and we went into this one. It was Mason's another episode that we did, and she started talking. I was like, well, he's standing right over there. And she just looked at me and was like, why don't you use your gift? I was like, what gift? I just know he's standing over there. He's kneading bread. And, I just feel it. I don't know.
You just get a vibe. You get a vibe for it.
Yeah.
Just thank you so much for doing that. Now, how about you there, Nate? We've talked so many different times and so many different things. Other than the gift for bad draft picks, what do you think that you got? Look, Lisa, I'm sorry that you have to deal with the harassment of him and I, but
no, it's all good. It's all good.
What we do. This is our love.
I really can't go into a lot of details yet because that is not out yet. But
The episode that
I
you're
have
involved
gotten
in.
things in
You
my
did an episode
stomach.
with these guys.
Yeah.
Now, was that the theater episode you were in? I know I saw a picture of you on some steps or something.
That would have been
Nathan, no, that's the new. This is the newest. You're talking about Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the newest
one of
one.
the newest episodes coming. It's Garrett Jacobs' mansion.
Yeah, so that
We're
the
filming.
episode is going to be ending season 3 for Paranormal in the Funhouse for
Yeah.
Garrett Jacobs' Mansion. It is one of the last 2 episodes besides the Robert Johnson house as well.
Yeah, we finished up on that one too.
And Debbie wants to know, Lisa, would you consider yourself as a medium?
So everybody, I'm more intuitive with the sixth sense. I do not consider myself a medium. Mediums can tune in a little bit easier to spirits talk to them. I can't always hear them with my own ears. I used to hear them a lot growing up as a kid, and I kind of tuned them out growing up. And actually, 2 years ago, I went to my dad's cemetery. My dad passed away when I was a baby. And one thing is I knew that my intuitions and my sixth sense and everything was coming more because I got out and it was dark. I was the only one in the cemetery. I actually have video of one of my dolls being picked up and pushed over at the gravesite. I had over 10 spirits. As soon as I got out of my car, I kept hearing. I thought I was going crazy. I kid you not. I heard, "Hey, hello, here, me, over here. Are you here over me?" And I'm turning around and there's nobody else in that cemetery but me. Nope. And I'm looking around and I'm like, whoa, it's been a long time since I actually was able to hear with my own ears. But more or less, I do not consider myself a medium. That's a whole different level. I'm more intuitive with the sixth sense, more gut feelings and stuff.
So Jason and I had the exact same reaction of no, I'll be getting back into my car. I will be leaving.
That's why I just said feet don't fail me now.
Being called for at a being called for at a graveyard on that live.
Well, what I did too is I told the spirits, I said, "I'm here to see my dad. I'll come back and talk to you another day." I said, "But I'm here to see and communicate with my father." So.
A little busy. Sorry, appreciate you guys. Maybe we'll have coffee next week. Pretty much. Now Debbie's saying that she doesn't hear them in her ear, but I do in my third eye. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? What do you know? Anybody know what that means?
A lot of times because your third eye is right here. That's when you start awakening, where you can where you're more open to the spirit world. If you can open up your third eye, not everybody has that. Not everybody has those type of abilities and gifts to do so. Everybody has different abilities. You're going to talk to everybody, and they're going to have different connections to the spirit world. Sometimes you get headaches. Sometimes if your third eye is open, you instantaneously, when you go to a site with spirits, you can get headaches. Nauseous, all that.
Well, you mentioned that so that's your normal physical reaction is you get nauseous. You start to feel. Jason and I have the same physical reaction, which is run. Ariel. Nate tries to get them on my podcast, which I appreciate. The minute he talks to him, he's like, "Man, I got you. Let me see if I can get you on the Above the Bar podcast. We could talk to you, man. What were you doing before this?" And Debbie saying, "I don't hear them. Third eye. It's like that talking to you in your thoughts." Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, I want to go back to something you said. It's funny you mentioned, a situation where you heard your mom. So I've talked about this many times. I don't know what you would call it. I don't know what it is. I was in high school. It was after playing football. You play sports, your legs hurt, your body hurts, you do all those things. And coming home and soaking in a tub and after playing sports. And I'll never forget this, hearing my mother downstairs yell for me in our house. I grew up in Dundalk.
Really?
Yeah. I'm
right up the street.
You can't hear 46th Street. You can't hear the smooth sounds of Dundalk in my voice. But
Annapolis here.
I love Third Eye comics. Talking about third eyes.
He's a Ravens fan too, Jason.
I'm a huge Ravens fan. But so she yelled for me, I got done, and I yelled back, and she didn't answer. I got done. Got out of the tub, went downstairs. She wasn't home. She got home. I said, "Mom, on the way home, were you thinking about me?" She goes, "Yeah, I had some stuff I wanted to ask you, long before cell phones and all that stuff." She goes, "Yeah." And her and I have always had that. Even, my children and my wife, where I'll hear them, or they'll say, "What did you say?" I'm like, "I didn't say a damn thing." And for years I would go, "I didn't say nothing. What are you talking about?" And they're like, "I heard you say something." And I'd be like, "I didn't say a word." So now what I do when they do that is I go, "What did you think you thought me say?" And they'll tell me, "Well, I thought you said something about this or something about that." And I'll go, "No, but I was thinking about it." And I realize now in my head, when I hit that point with somebody, it's a weird, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's not like I'm thinking about them. It's not like I'm focused on that thought, and I don't hear any other things outside of my head. I'm focused on thinking about something or communicating with somebody. And that's when it ends up somebody saying, Did you say something?" And I have to ask now, like, "Well, what did you think I said?" Now, most of what you guys have talked about has been paranormal type stuff. I don't think that's, now Debbie says it's telepathic, but I guess, see, Debbie, for me, when I think about that, I think of like Professor Xavier and X-Men and Jean Grey, like
I've had things back in the day. I'll dream of something, of a perfect dream, and next, like maybe 2 weeks down the road, or more, even a month go by, and the very exact same thing happened from my dream, and I'm like, and I know certain things that happened in it, that were in my dream, that were like an argument, and I knew what would lead up to it, and it was coming to that point during the live, and I'm like, I'm not saying this because this is what they're going to say, and it's going to start an argument, so I'm just going to leave that out. And sure enough, nothing happened.
you were able to control the situation.
Yeah, I mean, it scares me sometimes,
But now, how does that all compare with, like, so we've talked about, ghosts, we've talked about the dolls. I am so waiting for the Pokeballs or whatever they are called, Lisa, because I'd like that.
I wish they
really
go
called
up. I mean,
Scareball.
Dooney there, she during one of my podcasts, she jumped off the shelf twice during it. It was
I'm so waiting for them to go off here.
Right.
Because Nate
They
will tell you
don't
that
like to
normally
be
my show
recorded.
messes up.
Yeah, a lot of them don't like to be recorded at all. So yeah, we'll see. 'Cause he's just talking.
Where's
He's
Mr. House and Miss Church at?
Oh, Mr. House and they're over there on the other side. Yes, I have a house and a church that are on it as well.
Oh my God.
I got a lot.
And we're getting but now, how do they all compare when, I guess we all kind of normally would group those things together, like as paranormal, but I guess I don't think about those, those type of things. How would somebody group that? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
It's just they're just spirits attached to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have it attached to your phone. I mean,
you can even have an animal. I mean,
yep.
Well,
I'm a firm believer that, at some point, people come back to us in our lives as different things and all that. And we're getting a lot of, look, Debbie, if you could stay with, Debbie says she was able to communicate with her kids before cell phones, to come home at night telepathically. Debbie, you might want to get back on that plan. Think about how much money you would save if you could get back on that plan. Like, I want that plan.
No, yeah,
I want that too.
Here, right?
Like, I mean, think about that. If you could just be like, "Hey, I sent that text message." Put your hands on your head and be like,
I think your kids would answer their cell phone faster, Sean.
They might. Mine don't answer their cell phone, so it doesn't matter either way. I could be doing this.
Right.
I'm not answering the cell
"No, I
phone.
didn't
Do you
hear
really
ya."
think I'm gonna answer this, Dad?
Yep.
They don't want nothing to do it. So we got Rocco Bench just popped up. What's up from
Hi,
YouTube?
Rocco.
RNS Paranormal.
Yep.
Debbie agrees with us. So what type of things, if I'm always curious about this also. We talked about how I walk my house
Mhm.
every time if I move somewhere and I have that full blown conversation that thank God no one sees me do it because you would probably institutionalize me during that conversation.
Oh,
But
we would have done that a long time ago.
To
right.
record it. It would be a good training tool to record it because people don't understand that you need to create those boundaries in your home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know, I don't even remember where I first learned it. It was probably well, Jason, you're from Baltimore. Nate's from Baltimore. Where are you from, Lisa?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
I have a friend that
Born
lives
and
in St.
raised.
Paul. I have a friend in St. Paul.
Yeah, when I
and
first went out to Maryland, yeah, I got made fun of because of my accent.
that's all right. Look, anybody from Baltimore that makes fun of your accent, ignore them. We're the worst on the planet. Like people don't realize
I
how
just
bad ours
laugh.
is. Yeah. So, but what are some of the things that since you guys have been in this world all this time, been involved? I heard you talking about, you've put what was it? Like you put herbs and stuff around your dials to protect them from doing things. What are some of the things that you would suggest to somebody if they were feeling like, hey, I don't know one way or another, but the kitchen cabinet door seems to always be open. It always sounds like there's somebody bouncing a golf ball in the other room. I don't know if it's a pipe that I'm missing. I got a mouse in the wall.
Mhm.
That's just call the exterminator and stop being nasty and put your stuff away. But what are some of the things that you would suggest to those folks? What's up there, Virgil Kane? There's a great song with the line Virgil Kane in the song title. Oh God, I can't think of the name of the song. I have to think about it for a minute, Virgil. That is in a song. But what are some of the things that you guys, since you've been in this world or you've seen, that you would suggest to somebody if they're trying to kind of cleanse that area? We all see the sage thing, like what walk around with some sage and all that.
Gotta be careful with sage.
What do you? Oh, hold on. You can't say you gotta be careful with
You
sage. I'll
have
cook
to.
with sage.
I've seen actually there was a family out in North Dakota last year that reached out because they had someone come in and Asian sage their home on native land. They had to move out of their house. You
Oh, I'm not gonna
you
lie.
cannot have another culture sage another culture because you don't know what's
No.
going on in it. It made the natives spirit so bad that they had to reach out to an actual native team in North Dakota that I had to refer to a few teams for that because you're dealing with a lot. But they literally had to move out of their home. They couldn't go back because of it. You have to
Wait,
be
hold
careful
on.
with sage.
Come on. You can't just hold on. That's a whole fucking story in and of itself. Wait a second.
That's a short version. That because they were reaching out for the other team that I was on for us to do help, but they needed help severely that we had to refer them to other teams because they needed it so bad. Sage, they always say sage, white sage, go ahead and cleanse, right? But to be honest, you got to look at the religious aspect of it as well.
All
And
right.
there's
I
two
just need to
different
know.
types of sage that you can use too. So they do two different things as well.
Yeah,
So
oh yeah, you got like red sage, green sage, blue sage,
white
white
sage,
sage. They all
yeah,
mean something
something
different, and
different.
you've really got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
All right, real quick. Debbie is becoming quickly my new best friend because she remembered it was the Reba song. She can't remember her name either, but she knew I wasn't crazy. Virgil Kane was his name. The night they drove Old Dixie down, which is actually the band song. Thank you. You are the best. And then my man John hitting us up from So Scary County, New York. What's up? But now, look, Virgil, I'm going to promise you something. I'm not blocking you. He says, I'm new to the spirit, lost my best friend last year, but psychics block me when I ask questions about getting bad dreams. You're gonna have to tell me what that
Mm.
means, Virgil.
Yeah.
Like what it means, like you're getting bad dreams and they're blocking you. Like they don't want to tell you what about these bad dreams, or they're blocking you in the sense of like you're asking so many questions and they're blocking you on Facebook. You have to help me out a little bit there. The night
I would say if
Virgil,
a psychic is blocking somebody when someone's asking about their dreams, they're not real. There's a lot of fake psychics out there. They don't know how to respond to that. I
Yeah.
have someone, Virgil,
Mhm.
that I can connect you with as well as Sean, to give the information out there. But a lot of people proclaim that they're psychic, and when they get a question like that, and if they block you, they don't move past it and find someone else. That's not
Yeah.
worth
Well, that
it.
seems like such a broad statement to someone like, so I'm a psychic. I got psychic powers.
And
You know,
people
like,
do it though. I mean, seriously,
They
they
do.
do. I could go around and say I'm a medium, and I could look up somebody and try to get their information. You know, I mean, it's people are fake stuff out there. Let me tell you.
We've been to a couple of
you know,
them.
well, now, because you guys have been doing this for so long, and we're getting ready to close the bar up here real soon, you know, we're getting ready for last call, but I want to get this back out there. How would somebody, if they are, you know, hey, look, I've got a situation like Virgil has, and he's looking to talk to somebody, he's getting these bad dreams that are coming to him. How would you recommend, or even a vetting process that somebody could go through to make sure that, to the best of their ability, they're talking to somebody who knows what they're talking about?
You really have to like. I have connections to some really awesome psychic mediums. But also going through that is talk. And first off, is this guy, everybody out there. When you start having bad dreams and stuff like that, make sure it has nothing to do with like a sleep issue, a mental health issue, a medical issue. I had to sometimes these tough questions. I have people that will say, "Look at these bruises. Look at I'm being harmed in my home and there's bruises, right? There's blood diseases and blood disorders that cause bruising. You really got to take your avenue. Don't just jump in and say, "Yep, that's what it is. It's paranormal. You're being, there's a demon involved." No, they need to get checked out medically first. Definitely rule some of those things out first.
At least I got to tell you, I love that you're saying that, because I think so many of us want to go right to, "Oh, look, it's happening to me too. It's me too. Like I'm having this happen," because they're looking for that level of attention. But from a vetting process, how could I vet? You know, if I reached out, like if you're watching the live, like right now, Nate looks like his hair is on. Like, Nate, what's going on with the hair? He told me he looks right now like the dude that's on all the alien shows where Ancient Aliens with that
Easy
hair.
now.
You know, but so, and I'm joking about that. But if Nate was looking at me and was like, "I'm a psychic. Tell me about your dreams," I'd be like, "Bro, you are not."
Right?
But I mean, there's got to be you know, some kind of a vetting process or something out there that we could do to kind of be like, you know, Madame Griselda or whatever, you know, the gypsy neighbor. How do we do this?
Start talking to the person first to see if they need to actually be hooked up with somebody in the psychic industry. A lot of it is word of mouth and networking.
Yeah.
That's a lot of it, because you don't want to go to your shop that's like, "Oh, here, go to that psychic down the street for $10, right?"
Right.
No, you want to make sure, are you able to help them? Is it something that they need to see a professional for before you start sending them to a psychic? Me, I am connected with a really good psychic medium. And there's a lot of good psychic mediums out there. I mean, you got Patty Negri, who just won a award. You got Chip Coffee out there. I mean, there's so many people that are true that you can actually reach out to and give emails and even get them connected if that's what's needed. But definitely you got to talk to the person first, because if it's something medical, you're wasting the psychic's time as well if it really is something medical.
Well, it could do more harm than good.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't they be able to tell you right away? I'm a psychic. It's not. You just. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Like, they should be able to be like, "Nope, I can't do
Don't
shit.
do it.
Right.
It ain't on me." What's going on there, Anthony?
Anthony,
Thank you for
Texas
joining
Race
us.
Hunters.
But so now, we've been talking about the show Paranormal in the Funhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, you guys got to go to Todd's farm. You know that, right?
Where's that at?
Down
I'm in
in
process
in
of trying to get a hold of them.
in Edgemere, Todd's farm, down by Dundalk.
Yeah, I'm in the
Edgemere.
process of trying to get a hold of them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's one of those ones. You get a chance to look up Todd's farm in Baltimore. That's on one of them levels where you're like, say what again? Like, you get into, I believe it, you're getting into like War of 1812,
Oh, nice.
German.
Oh, Lord.
I'll give you another
Whole lot
spot.
of history.
Ooh, I'm flying. I'll be flying into Maryland for that one.
I'll throw
I
you.
know you
I'll let
will.
you know.
If you got, because I want to know when the next time people can see you guys. I got another one for you, which is a place I used to live at. If you ever get a chance to look up the Water Valite, and it's French, Water Lviet, Water Valite is pronounced.
Mhm.
The Water Valite Arsenal. It's the oldest active arsenal in the country, built for the War of 1812. That were kind of on
Oh
that.
wow.
And my
I'll be getting in
neighbor,
contact with them now.
my old neighbor that lived across the street from me, their home on the base was at one point in time the clinic and morgue for the base. And I'll never forget the one time, because they used to actually have people come on and do all the paranormal stuff and investigations around the base. And my neighbor across the street, her son was like 2 or 3 years old. He was just older than one of my sons. And he said, "Mommy, the red-faced man wants me to let him in." And she was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Mommy, the red-faced man wants me to let him in." And there was nobody outside.
Oh wow.
So then they had the investigator come through, and he said, "Those are troops
Humans.
that were injured that are trying to get into the
Mhm.
hospital, which is your home."
Mhm.
I get chills even talking
Wow.
about it, because the red-faced man,
Yep.
it
Yep.
was. And then there was another one. There was an explosion on the base, and a guy who was working there, they brought him into one of the other houses after the explosion, and he died in the house. And we knew those neighbors, and they constantly were like, you would be in the bathroom and you could hear somebody talking, and there was nobody else in the house, and you could hear someone talking to you. In the attic, you could constantly hear a ball bouncing in the attic. Yeah, that place
Oh, wow.
is.
Send me that info later,
That place-
Sean.
Yeah,
What's
Victor
that?
from the Don Vic show
Send me
on.
that contact info later. I'll get in touch with them.
I don't have any contact for them folks, but yeah, Debbie says, I feel like people that brag about being psychics aren't really psychics. Just my opinion. You know what? I agree with
Yeah.
you there.
I agree.
Mhm.
Alleged psychic Van Prawn's wife blocked me. I'm not sure who Van Prawn is, but I hear you, Virgil. Let's see, Victor, what's going on?
He's from the
On because
Don
I
Vic
said
show.
every-
Awesome guy. If you
Hey,
want to get him
Vic.
on your show
What's
as
up, man?
well, he's awesome.
So well, we'll get
Victor's
you on
awesome.
here. We'll make it happen, bro. I love talking about this thing. So now, Jason, how often,
Yes, sir.
if somebody wanted to watch Paranormal in the Funhouse, I know I follow you guys on Facebook, I follow you guys on Instagram. Again, folks, and it's Paranormal in the Funhouse.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
And at first I thought it was Paranormal Funhouse, and then I realized it was in the. So I'm going to say that again. It's Paranormal in the Funhouse.
Yep.
How often can people see you guys live? How often are there shows going on that people can see what's happening with you all?
Well, you can download Paraflix for one thing, and use Funhouse 10.
Funhouse 10.
Now, so that's a code. Now, what will that do for them if they downloaded Paraflix and they put in the code Funhouse 10? What does that do for them?
It gives them a discount on their subscription.
It'll give a 10% discount off the subscription, and you can do monthly or you can do yearly. Normally, the 10% is off the year subscription, which isn't too bad for the cost.
Yeah, it's like $5 a month, isn't it, for Paraflix?
Yeah, I paid for the whole year. I had what the last time I paid for was like $26.
Yeah,
That's like $3.99 with the discount.
Yeah, so $19.99 for Paraflix for a year. You can't beat that. And if you put Funhouse 10 in there, so they can see you there, and then they have the other. Now, how often are new episodes of your investigations coming out?
We're about to release Robert Johnson House very shortly. I can't even remember the last one we did.
Well, I do have information.
You do?
I work with Paranormal in the Funhouse. I talked to Brandon earlier. He apologizes that he couldn't be on the show tonight for everybody tonight. Some personal things going on. So the season 3 is going to be ending with the Robert Johnson House and Garrett Jacobs Mansion. What they're trying to do is get back into live ghost hunting again. They kind of slowed down a little bit with the live ghost hunting, but they're going to get back to that. They also, you can find them on Twitch for gaming, plus their live investigations that they do, and then as well
You
as
said
Paraflix. So they'll be getting back into that stuff. So they're going to go back slowly. So hang in there, guys. They'll be out there.
There's been a lot of things going on, with COVID and vehicles, and it's just been hard. We're trying to get back into the rhythm, and got
get
some
the process
actually
going
good.
again.
We've got an actually got a really good one coming up that we're filming right now. I can't say anything about it, but it's really crazy.
Well, I'm looking forward to that now.
Yeah.
How about for your stuff, Lisa? How often can folks listen to you on Paranormal Mayhem or some of the other shows that you're an admin or moderator on?
I'm from Key to the Other Side. Paranormal is my team. Will get out there investigating. I have just a small team. Paranormal Mayhem is on Facebook. I also stream on YouTube. I am also on Instagram, TikTok. I'm everywhere.
I respect
Paranormal
that
Mayhem,
completely.
I am trying to do shows every week. This coming Monday, the 24th, I'll have another psychic medium on there. She's new to the show.
You got another co-host.
So I'm trying to go every week. I work overnight 6 days a week, so I'm trying to fit it in.
I understand. I've lived that world before, working union overnights. Definitely. Thank you, Virgil. We appreciate you. We really do. And I hope you can get somebody to help you out there. Reach out to Lisa Marie and these guys. They'll get you hooked up with the right person.
Yeah.
So we've got all these different things. Like, you guys, I love it. Like, this is, and do any of now, Lisa, I know you said they don't necessarily talk to you in that way, but when you look behind you right now, are any of the dolls attempting extra energy, the K2 going off right now? I can't see it.
That would be Eustace. Yeah. So Eustace here, when I took him out of the case, I started getting sick in the house. He's got a little pack of protection stuff that I put together. But high energy, you take him out, and my whole house, you can cut it with a knife. You put him back at the level, and the house goes down. He's one of the highest energy ones.
That's the one that was going bloody
in the case that I have on Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, fuck all that.
Fuck all that. Anyone can come over and see the dolls in live if you want to. If you want to come to Minnesota.
Look,
you can keep them things in Minnesota. No,
Jason, you and I are on the same page, brother.
If I come to visit your house, I'm sitting outside. Okay, you can bring my food.
I also have an Etsy store that I just opened as well. I have 2 dolls.
I was going to ask you about this.
Down there. Yep, I have an Etsy store that I just opened. I got a lot of stuff I have to add yet, guys. And I do apologize. I'm making a lot of different things. I also have 2 dolls that I've posted down there ready with a short video.
So now, what's the name of the Etsy store again?
Mystical Haunted. Mystical Haunted Haven on Etsy.
Mystical Haunted Haven on Etsy. They can see what you've got going on. We're getting ready to close the bar down. Folks, look, give these guys a like, follow, share. Nate's got the flock on top of everything else that he does. He's got, like I said, he's got about 35 Facebook pages and fan pages. My man is the busiest person I know, with the biggest heart of anybody I know. Make sure you're giving Nate lots of love and fantasy football picking tips. He needs that also.
Yeah.
Make sure he gets much help as he possibly can.
Guess what's going on? Get $100 to your house.
Oh God, please don't. Look, my wife April.
Christmas presents. They'll come with protection salts. So they'll do everything. I'll have everything going.
Oh God, look, you better. I will dunk that thing in some holy water, Father Guido Sarducci. You know,
you don't need holy water for these ones. I'll send you what you need. You'll be good.
Yeah, no, they can. You know how I'll be great, Lisa. They stay in Minnesota. So,
no, they're gonna
I have connections now. Don't forget.
Exactly. Keep them things in Minnesota.
Before we get ready to close this thing up here, folks, and we close the bar. Look, as always, the way we get this done every week is you take the time wherever you found us at, whatever podcast you found a streaming app or whatever it is, go on to Apple, go on to Spotify, give us each a 5-star rating. Leave a nice comment. If you found us on Facebook or Twitch, give us a follow. YouTube, give us a nice comment. That is how Lisa, Jason, and Nate, how their stuff gets going. That's how we at the Above the Bar podcast keep going, and people find these things. It might sound cliche because you're watching videos with your kids and they're always like, follow, and share. Listen, it's real. It's legit. This is how we get found. These are how things happen for us. So please take that time. Give us, thank you for the love, Virgil. I'm glad you found us. John, same thing. Great podcast, amazing networking skills to get these guests. Thank you, John. I appreciate you, brother. But please go out and do those things. This is important for us. This is what we need. Now, I know you guys got dropped into this last minute there, Lisa and Jason.
Okay.
You got kind of dropped in.
It's all good.
I appreciate you guys. So I know you didn't get a chance to listen to all 174 episodes of the show before this one. So I know you didn't get a chance to get them all. So I'll explain one of the big and don't log off as soon as this is over. I need you guys to stick around with me for a moment.
All right.
So, one of the biggest rules of the show is that the guest always gets the final word. So I need from you guys, each of you get your own. Nate, you go first. Nate, what's your final word?
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky. I like. Jason,
He stole mine. You look.
Oh, jeez. I gotta think.
I know. Don't eat all yellow snow.
there you go. Don't eat the yellow. I like it. That's great. And Lisa, what is your final word for us?
I just want to say thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for Nate and Jason to reach out to me to join you guys on this show to support you guys as well. I don't really have much of a final word. Besides, if you're dealing with haunted dolls, make sure you use protection.
Alrighty, folks, be sure to push your stool in.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation, found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.